everyone, and welcome to this week's edition of the Geeking Out podcast. I am the Athletic Geek, and doing a little something different with the podcast this week. As many of you saw, or at least like 10 of you saw, Nick and I did our top 10 list in our year end awards, and unfortunately, just due to the holidays and various circumstances, we couldn't get the whole crew to do that on a live stream, but fear not for everybody who has been patiently waiting for what the rest of the Geek family has chosen as their top 10 matches of 2021 and their year in awards 2021. CJ and EZ are going to be here on the Geeking Out podcast, and they are going to basically get the platform to talk about all of that, and they're going to have really no meddling from myself or anyone else, other than maybe a few comments. But the floor will be theirs, and yeah, let's get this party started and start with the matches of 2021. And who wants to go first?
Ladies first.
I
Okay.
knew he was going to say that.
Damn it. Damn it, right?
Like, why let's go first?
That's going to be part of our merchandise. One day.
Ladies first.
Yes.
All right. Well, CJ, I guess you're going first.
All right. So in my number 10 spot for a match of the year, I chose Suzuki versus Richards. Davey Richards, obviously.
Well, where'd it come from? Where was this match at?
This happened. See if you just let me finish. This happened at our semi-local independent wrestling promotion called Glory Pro Wrestling. You can find them on YouTube. I'm pretty sure you can find this match on YouTube. When did this happen? Like in September, October?
October.
Yeah, when Suzuki was making his rounds across the country. We saw him in Impact. We saw him in AEW. He had a lot of good matches, but this one in particular was my favorite. Maybe because I was live. I was there. I could see everything. But I thought that Davey Richards, he had a better match, I thought, with Minoru Suzuki than other people, even Daniel Bryan. That's controversial to say, but I'm going to say it right here. You heard it. Yeah, I liked this. If you haven't seen it, and I'm guessing a lot of people have it, you should go look for it. And
it's on the High Spots app.
I think that they also have it on their YouTube.
Yeah, but what's on High Spots?
Go look for High Spots too. Do all the things.
Pay for it first, as we've learned through some promotions in 2021 having some hard times. Pay for it first.
That's fair. This is fair.
This was also on my list as well, so I can vouch for this match. All right, EZ, what is your number 10?
All right, so for my number 10, even though, unfortunately, I didn't watch this one, but I did hear how humongous this was, and considering one of these two was actually there for it, I put up my number 10 from NWA 73, Trevor Murdoch versus Nick Aldis. When I heard that of all people who won the NWA World Heavyweight Champion, Trevor Murdoch beating Nick Aldis, it just brought me back to like thinking about when Cody won the belt from the almighty Aldis, and now this was Trevor Murdoch's moment to think, holy shit, now he just broke the longest streak that the NWA has had. So I'm assuming just from their point of view that this match was insane, and I guess if there was like people crying, people like throwing their beer everywhere, celebrating, tailgating, sacrificing their kids. Again, I'm just kidding about that part, but
they didn't get that far.
But I heard from others that this was like an incredible feel-good moment. So, and props for Trevor Murdoch, honestly, because personally, other than his tag team run he had with the late great Lance Cade, this is a good feel-good moment for him. So hopefully he's going to capitalize more about this, and AEW, we're waiting.
Yeah.
Anyways, that's just me. Well, that's just me.
Yeah. Yeah.
That is my number 10.
Yeah, it was a good
Mostly
match.
because I didn't watch this match. I'm sorry, but I did hear wonderful things.
It was on my list too. It was also my number 10. Okay, CJ, you have number 9.
I have a number 9. No, I don't have a number 9. I just skipped 8.
Rule number
I just
6,
used
there is
even.
no rule number 6. Rule number
I
7.
just used even numbers, so there is a rule number 6 for me. No, in my number 9 spot, I chose Josh Alexander versus TJP. This was a 60-minute Ironman match from Impact in June. Just a Impact taping. That this is when they were still doing COVID procedures, so they did not have any crowd. Towards the end, they did have their locker room file out to really give the end of the match, and then if you haven't seen it yet, you should watch it. This was an excellent match. To kind of spoil it a little bit, it does go over 60 minutes. Which is a big spoiler if
You can
are
spoil it.
watched.
You can spoil it. At this point in time, like,
It happened in June. If you haven't seen it yet, you should probably still go watch it. But it does, like, you think you're building and you're building and you're building, and you hit that 60-minute, like, you're getting close to the 60 minutes and something happens and you're like, oh crap, like, then you expect something and it doesn't happen, so you're like, what the heck's gonna happen? You think you're in for a 60-minute ride and you're actually in for like a 65-minute ride. And it was fine. It's fine. Clearly it's fine. It made my number 9. Excellent match. Josh Alexander, I think, is somebody that we'll hear a lot more about in the coming years. He is just, watching him live, watching him on Impact, he is phenomenal and has a great mind for wrestling. And so he and TJP had a smash, and that's why it's on my number 9.
Okay, well, easy. What would be your number 9?
My number 9, a match that I actually did see, AEW Fighter Fest Night 1, Darby Allin versus Ethan Page. Holy crap, was this amazing. And then especially just the ending of Darby using a coffin drop right on his coffin with Ethan Page inside there. And just this match was just really hardcore intensifying. And this was, if I'm not mistaken, this was like one of the first matches when AEW was finally going back to a live audience, and this delivered big time, and just so many holy shit moments. It's one of those, go watch it if you haven't seen it. It is, in my personal opinion, like one of the best endings that I've seen of 2021.
Okay. Very nice, very nice. CJ, what is your number 8?
My number 8 comes, I'm just like spreading the love around here right now. My number 8 comes from NXT Takeover Stand and Deliver Night 1, Walter versus Ciampa.
Wow, that's only 8 because
that's only 8.
That was my number 3. So okay.
Don't worry. We'll see more Walter on my list. This is not the peak of Walter here. But I have a clear bias. No, this was excellent. When I watched it back, and maybe it was because I love these two and I had it so majorly hyped, and not to say that they didn't live up to any hype, but maybe I hyped it up too much in my mind before the match happened for me to really, really feel like I got my emotional money's worth out of it. It was still phenomenal. Clearly, it made a top 10 list for the entire year in which wrestling is going crazy. So, but there it is, and there it sits.
It's fair. I mean, I guess maybe it was higher. It's funny you say it's higher on my list because maybe I didn't have the emotional hype. I'd kind of really cold turkeyed NXT and just WWE as a whole. But then, we watched this match and I'm like, oh hey, this was phenomenal. This was, every other adjective you could. But then again, I also did not have a match that I'm sure is going to be on your list. even in my top 10 because I just didn't connect with it. So there you go. But still, it's a great match, and it was definitely if NXT was going out on Wednesday going out on Wednesday night and changing days, they definitely went out on a high note. It's the equivalent of you're not going to make the playoffs, but you still beat the the team that would go on to win the Super Bowl in the last game of the year. So yeah.
So what was WCW's like pay-per-view equivalent to? Yeah, we know we're gonna fold. Or
They didn't really have a
they had some shows where they were. It's very clear, like, yeah, we're going under. But they didn't really have like, yeah, we're going under, so let's go out with a bang. Like, they threw whatever at the wall just to see what would stick.
Yeah.
So like Bassett, whatever the.
No, their last show was just a Nitro, but it's
they
weird.
filmed it on a beach.
Yeah, they just filmed it on a beach, and they just unfortunately there wasn't like. They didn't really balls to the wall wrestle, which is kind of unfortunate for WCW. But I know they did a few things that brought some good closure to the company, like having Booker T be the final true WCW champion. Having the last match in WCW history be Ric Flair and Sting, which that is WCW. So they they weren't really thinking balls to the wall great match, but they were thinking, hey, let's tie up and make everything go out in a nice way. And the last true WCW match was the top two names in WCW. That when people think WCW, you think these people. So that was kind of their way of doing it. Different time, different era, different company, and different booker. But yeah. So I believe it is time for your number 8. Easy.
Oh, oops. Sorry, I forgot who we were talking to. All right, so my number 8, one of 2 WWE matches that I have in here, and it is Charlotte Flair versus Rhea Ripley. Yes, you heard it right. Charlotte Flair is on my list. God help me. But no, their Money in the Bank match was honestly just amazing. Like, I am mad and a little disappointed at who the victor was, but both these ladies like delivered big time. And props to Rhea Ripley that the start of 2021 with things getting back to normal, she was honestly like just on top of the world. She was really showing everyone her brutality, minus what would later happen on with the end of 2021, but that's beside the point. So as for Charlotte Flair, well, she'll always be like the queen of something or whatever. But either way, like this was still a good match. That pay-per-view was just okay, but it was still like a really great match between those two. Like we all saw it, and it was like, yeah, this is definitely match of the night. Whereas the rest of it was just, eh. I forget who. Oh yeah. It was Big E who won. Oh, it was Big E who won Money in the Bank, and then everyone was like, "Wait, what the hell? Nikki ASH won Money in the Bank?" Which even I'm like, "Wait, what?"
I mean,
What was that?
Yeah.
Oh, I think now I remember this. I turned this off really fast after Roman Reigns won, and John Cena came back, and I'm like, "Oh."
I just remember the screen going like completely blank because Peacock sucks, and CJ can attest to that.
Yeah, and then we just heard like Spanish commentary over the normal commentary.
Was this the pay-per-view when all of us were having Peacock issues and
Yep.
Like, wait, what the hell's... Okay.
Yep.
Okay, now I remember.
This was very early on in our Peacock journey.
Yeah.
The Peacock journey.
Yeah. And then literally as soon as I turn off, now I remember. It's like Peacock had some streaming services and everything just like this, and I thought my TV broke.
Yeah. And they actually had to switch to their old WWE Network feed and line it over to Peacock viewers. It was a mess.
It was a mess. But you know what is not a mess? CJ's number 7 match of the year. Hopefully.
Well, I don't know. You might think this was a mess.
Uh-oh.
Because my number 7 is MJF, Maxwell Jacob Friedman versus Darby Allin at Full Gear.
That was on my list. I think it was, I can't remember where it was, but it was on my list. I want to say it is in the list. I'm sorry, it's been a while since I recorded it, and I threw the list away.
Way to go. As another...
Cite the original video if you're curious as to what my...
Please refer back to...
this.
Yeah. As another very famous CJ would say, it just made the list.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, what can I personally thought that this was one of MJF's best matches. He is such a good wrestler on top of being good at he's just very well rounded. He's very good speaking and cutting promos. He is so good in the ring. He's
everybody's
so young
favorite
for being this
douchebag.
good.
This was the match that proved he could wrestle, like he wasn't just a promo. And it was also my match, the best match on Full Gear. And yes, I know that Hangman Page and Kenny Omega happened. And yes, I know that there was a 6-man tag with the Super Elite and Jurassic Express and Christian. So would you agree
it was the best match on the card?
Yep.
And
I'm going to have to disagree with that, and I'll elaborate more about that later.
Okay.
It proved so much for MJF, but I felt like it also proved that Darby was more than just a glorified stuntman. He could go in there. The build leading up showed some weaknesses in his work, and that's fine. He's also still young enough. I'm not going to fault him. It showed that he could get in the ring and really, really tell a story about things and work with people, and not just like, oh, look at that crazy stunt that Darby just did. Like he really went in and had a match, and that spoke volumes for both of them for me. So that's why it's sitting on my list.
Okay. Well, Easy, is something else your number 7, or are we going to hear more about that later?
No. My number 7, sticking with the WWE theme, and this is literally the last time you will hear WWE in here, Bianca Belair versus Sasha Banks, WrestleMania 37, Night 1. Oh, sorry, just WrestleMania Night 1, since apparently Vince doesn't like it. That Mania ages, but who gives a shit anymore? But anyways, this match was just amazing. Like, think about this, that, like, this was very historic in a way. Like, this was the first time, not only did Mania have, once again, an all-female main event, which 35 was so great, although Ronda wasn't pinned. Anyways, but this was also the first time this was headlined by 2 African-American wrestlers, and that's a huge inspiration that you gotta have with that community there. And Belair Banks, obviously, like, they put on just such a great show. Night 1 was okay. Night 2 we don't talk about. But the entirety was honestly, like, really great. Like, this match was just really leading up to all the hype that we had, and there really was no hero or villain per se in this. It was both just proving who is the best here. And then Becky Lynch ruined it at SummerSlam. But anyways, Belair Banks, my number 7, and Bianca was so close to being my female wrestler of the year this year. So close.
Yeah. All right, very good. Unfortunately, all this great, goodwill and inspiration to the, to what could be considered inspiration of the black community was undone the next night when Vince went straight up racist with the Big E versus yeah. Which the less said about that, the better. And
why does it?
I don't know. We'll just move on to happier things like
Vince McMahon calling Booker T my.
No, don't do that. Don't do that. No, we're not gonna talk about that. We're not gonna talk about that. We're not talking about CJ and her number 6.
Just my number 6.
Well, yeah, whatever your 6 best match is.
There you go. The number 6 on my list. Number 6 on my list is the Young Bucks versus Lucha Brothers in the steel cage at All Out.
Okay, that wasn't even on my list. So, all right.
It was on my list. That was a very intense match, and something that we were also there live for.
Except me,
Yeah, it was something that Geek and I were there live for.
due to a
Um,
scheduling mix-up. Sorry, I'm still just.
you could have,
mad.
you could have seen it. You could have seen all of the
Work
craziness.
in my real life, work screwed up the schedule a little bit.
Well, my work didn't screw up the schedule, so we were there. This it was super impressive live. It was super impressive watching it back on television. There was even from the entrances, there was a lot of energy in it. They didn't quite have me at the beginning of the match, and that's kind of typical for me in the Young Bucks. But what was important about this match to me is that they really, really caught me, and they had my full attention and had me invested in the match. By the end of it, I thought that the Lucha Brothers winning the titles here was big, important, and it would start to elevate the tag team belts, which I thought had really lost momentum being on the Young Bucks for the time that it did. Hindsight's 2021, apparently, but that's fine. Here in this moment, it was fantastic, and they got their big entrance. They had their big moment, and it was big enough to make my number 6 on the list.
Okay, not bad. I just I don't know. I love the match, but again, I'm kind of like the minority. I liked one match better than that on the card.
He liked the CM Punk match.
No, not at all. I
Funny,
actually,
as of this recording, I am wearing my CM Punk shirt.
good for you. Actually, my favorite match from All Out was Miro and Eddie Kingston, but just
Yes.
fucking all about Eddie Kingston. Anyway, EZ, what is your number 6?
All right, from number 6, from AEW Revolution, a match that was so intensifying that everybody thought this was like unreal and amazing. The barbed wire death match. I'm just kidding. God freaking no.
Stealing my bit.
Darby
You're stealing my bit.
Darby Allin Sting versus Team Taz. That is. I am normally not the biggest fan of cinematic matches, and I'm in the minority that I honestly didn't really give two shits about the final deletion. Even like watching it is awesome, and then, well, we get the whole history there. But
Right.
this cinematic match was, I was at the edge of my seat for this. Like, this is amazing, and showing that Sting can still do it. Or as the old WCW albums would go, the man called Sting. And I forget the rest of the lyrics, but I know they're stupid. But
he does this.
it was like
he does
this,
that.
He does that. But anyways, no. But for real, like what they did was amazing. No,
they did this and that, wouldn't you say?
Exactly. Yeah. You know what? If you want to see what they did, go watch it. Pay the extra $50, or even better, if you just go, and this is not me being a product placement, just go to shopaew.com, just buy the DVD, and just skip the barbed wire death match. Because the whole pay-per-view was great up until then. Match was great, just really, really, really shitty ending.
Well, we beat that dead horse the day after it happened, so I'm not gonna say anything. But yeah, that's exactly. I'm not one to put cinematic matches on my list because I don't feel like it's fair. Because you can reshoot and use tricks, but I mean but then again, it's not my list, so fair enough. I enjoyed the match enough.
And the Army of Stings was awesome.
I don't think CJ liked it too much because one of her favorites had to.
I didn't mind that. I didn't mind Sting coming back. That was before I was over the Sting hype.
I think it was.
I was talking about the fact that he got to beat up on Ricky Starks. That's why you probably didn't like it.
I didn't like that. No. Didn't like that part.
And also, this could have been a lot better if we had no commentary.
That's
I know.
I mean,
I didn't mind the commentary on it.
No, frankly, like what made cinematic matches really great is when there's no commentary, like watching like Hardy, Sammy, Final Deletion, uh, Wyatt Family versus the New Day, which again that should have been for the tag team championships, but that's a whole other story. And also rest in peace, Brody Lee. But it just could have been better if we were just watching this in general, and then after that we could have our post match reaction, and be like, "Wow, that was unbelievable."
Yeah.
Again, that's just me.
That's fair. I mean, it's your list. And you can put whatever you want on there.
My list, so your opinion is invalid, just like everybody else's.
Yeah. That doesn't stop us from commenting, though. I mean, we are on the internet.
Nope.
That is.
No, just call me Le French Canadian Monsieur Perfect.
Boo.
Yeah. No.
No.
I am better than Le Québécois.
Who? What? You're on a different plane right now. CJ, we're going to the top 5, and we're going to start with CJ's number 5.
Number 5. Britt versus Sheeta for the title. This is where Britt wins the AEW Women's Championship at Double or Nothing. I screamed at the television. And as people who know me can tell you, that doesn't happen very often. Even if I am emotionally invested in matches, when you get an actual reaction from me, especially when I'm watching on TV, you've done something. And the Good Doctor, I'm clearly on her bandwagon. I have been on her bandwagon, but she got all the reactions from me that night. I was rooting for her to win the belt. I thought it was her time. Obviously, that was right. This was a great match. For me, this was a fantastic match. So it's number 5.
Fair.
Is that why my windows broke all the way from where I live?
Yes.
Maybe.
I screeched.
Don't worry, nothing broke.
No, I think it broke whenever you had a finisher kick out and you yelled, "Stop letting him go play your matches!"
Yeah, that was true. That's a shoot. I said that.
She screamed so
Sorry.
loudly that the entire United States was wondering what the fuck just happened.
Yep, somewhere in Southern Illinois, that was heard. That was one of my honorable mentions. I really liked that match.
The Southern Illinois Screamer. There you go.
Southern Illinois screeching.
That's better than the Scranton Strangler. You got to admit that.
True story.
All right, EC number 5.
All right, my number 5 from AEW Winter is Coming. Normally, if a match ends in a draw, I really just don't think it should happen in here. But it led up to a great rematch to the next year, which may or may not be on the 2022 countdown. Hangman versus Bryan Danielson at Winter is Coming, and what can we say? Like, holy shit! Like,
we can say you're underrating it. That's one thing I can say. But go on. Fair. You don't like time limit draws like me. That's not.
I know
unfair.
Like,
so
thinking between that and then Hangman, or not Hangman, Kenny versus Bryan at Grand Slam, which please do that again. This was just a great match. It wasn't just a match. This was for the AEW World Championship. And yes, I know Bryan and Kenny had their match for the title as well.
Not for the title. Non-title.
Actually, it wasn't?
Yeah, there's a non-title.
Never mind. But anyways, like, this was an intensifying match. And a lot of us were like thinking, okay, so when is it going to be the rematch? So this was just a great like first fight between the two. And it's also, you got to see Bryan's a little bit of an evil side as well. It's just really tarnishing Hangman. Excuse me. Just trying to like downplay that Hangman, he isn't the world champion. It's like, I got to feel sorry because I was expecting Kenny. And, that really did bring out the intensity leading up with Hangman and Bryan having their first fight together. So that is at my number 5. And I hope I don't have to put draws in anymore.
I don't. I hope there's even more time limit draws that help further good
perfect.
stories.
Let's tell that to Vince McMahon. That would be some good shit.
I mean, it would be better than a disqualification.
Yeah, exactly. It'd be better than the fucking shit that Vince is giving us now. At least a
or
draw.
or a no contest during Hell in a Cell because both competitors just couldn't fight anymore.
Disqualified for kicking too much ass. I don't
Yeah.
like that. I don't like that.
But it's why I like things just go 60 minutes and go, hey, if you're going to have to do a non-finish, because, this isn't a non-finish. This is a finish. If you're going to have to do something that's not no winner to continue the story, a draw is better than the bullshit WWE gives us, and I will die on that hill.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so we are now in the top 4. You can't see me, but I'm making the 4 horsemen, logo. It is CJ's turn.
You're going to be so mad at me.
What's that?
Guess what my number 4 is?
I'm guessing it's that same match.
It is the same match, and you're going to tell me I underrated it.
Again, everything I just said easy, I say to you.
I know. That's what I said. You're going to be so mad at me. And I don't really have a whole lot to add about it. It was a good match. It's even now that we've had 2, I still like the second one better. This was a great match. It just didn't check all the boxes for me. So it sits at 4.
After hearing this, I feel like I know what your top 2 are going to be. I don't know in what order. But I think I know what the top 2 are going to be, and I'm just going to keep it to myself. I will say if it's not what I'm thinking right now, but I think I know what they're going to be.
I'm really curious to know what you think they are.
I will yay or nay when we get there. When you say what your number 2 is, I will say, yes, that's one of them that I think of, or no, that's not what I was thinking, and I will express it. So.
Because we've still got 3. So
I know. I'm just saying, from what I know about you, what I know about who you like, what I know about what you've connected with watching wrestling with you, I think I just don't want to say it and put it out there and kill some suspense. But I will say, when we get to number 2, if it's one of these 2 matches, I will go, that was one of them I was thinking, and see if my thought process is right on you. All that being said, we have a number 4 for EZ, and what is your number 4?
All right, so for this one, I honestly just couldn't pick which one, so I thought, fuck it, I'm gonna pick both of them. The Inner Circle versus the Pinnacle from both AEW Double or Nothing and AEW Blood and Guts. I literally just could not pick which one when I made this list. So again, fuck it, I'm picking both of them. And it's fair because one was won by the Inner Circle, the other was won by the Pinnacle. Both these matches were just hardcore insanity. Like the last Stadium Stampede when we had the Elite versus the Inner Circle, that was great. Inner Circle versus Pinnacle for Double or Nothing, that was amazing. Just hands down, all out intensity, and just great ending from both of them. Some people are gonna say with Blood and Guts, it looked ridiculous because it looked like Chris Jericho landed on a very soft cushion stage ramp. It's yeah, well, did you want him paralyzed from that fall? And frankly, I loved it. It just looked like MJF is I'm the king of this castle right now and just throwing Jericho off the steel structure, and I literally did go holy shit, as or what JR would go good God Almighty, he killed him. That was literally my reaction. It's holy shit, you just killed Jericho on television. So both those matches, my personal opinion, were phenomenal. So that is my number 4. Is both Double or Nothing and Blood and Guts between the Inner Circle and Pinnacle. It is a little bit of a shame, we couldn't elaborate more on this rivalry here, but hey, you know what? We did make up for it with Jericho and MJF at All Out, because it really was between those 2.
I know Nick had the Blood and Guts match on his top 10, and I had Stadium Stampede as an honorable mention. I think if they just would have shot the thing better, I have no problem with Chris Jericho falling on a pad or falling on something. We don't want anything to happen.
All right, flaming table.
Well, I don't have a problem with him taking a fall off that height on something that's a little more cushioned, but I feel like that's something.
But the entire I guess
AEW has to learn how not to shoot, how to shoot. If you're gonna, if you're gonna like do something like that, you got to shoot it to where it doesn't look like that. You know.
I frankly just didn't care. It's like, okay, so it looked like he landed on. Okay, yeah, we see how fake the ladders look, but we don't like. So we don't call them out saying like,
Okay,
hey,
so
that ladder looks like it's made out of wood. It's like, no, yeah, no shit.
so in a
More or less
movie,
different
like
parts.
we need to see like where the CGI ends. Like that's kind of to me like where it though the wrestlers didn't fail, the production failed. Whoever was controlling production and said shoot that deserves an F.
They could have even still shot it. They played the wrong camera angle when he fell.
Yeah.
Like you could have showed it later. You could have showed that angle like 30 seconds later and it would have been fine, but the impact on that angle just kind of ruined the whole fall. It is wrestling. I don't want Chris Jericho to
probably
legitimately
looked.
die. I don't want it to look so bad it suspends my entire disbelief. Like
It was probably different for those who were actually there thinking, "Holy shit, that fall was nuts!" And then they go back and see it on TV. It's like, oh, what the hell did they do?
I didn't want Chris Jericho to actually be hurt any more than I wanted Harrison Ford to be hurt, falling to his quote unquote death in the in the Star Wars movie. But on the flip side of things,
I'm just kidding.
On the flip side of things, I definitely didn't want them to CGI and go like, "Hey, everybody, just so you know, Harrison Ford actually didn't fall to his death." Okay. You just gotta. Everything the wrestlers did in that match was great. They did a better War Games match than any of the War Games matches in NXT. You just gotta. You can't. They're. You know. You can't do that. You got to be prepared to show the camera angle where it doesn't make it look completely and totally not real.
You gotta give us the good shit, man.
You gotta. It is a TV show. You gotta shoot it like a TV show would shoot something like that. But
to me, it was exactly like that barbed wire death match. Like, not to draw it out, but like when Eddie sold the explosion like death, and it was literally like 5 sparklers and some flashbangs. Like that to me is the same. Like Eddie looks like a fool for selling the death out of 5 sparklers, and Jericho doesn't look that tough from selling death out of falling on a mattress. That to me is what it is. It's the same thing to me.
And
Bloody Guts brought to you by Mattress Firm.
Pretty much.
That's a football house.
But I did like the Sam Stampede. I really like the Piper Goldust vibes it gave off with kind of like where it starts out in the back, and then you have your plunder and everything, and then eventually ends in the ring in front of a live crowd. I thought that was a nice touch. But we're now in the top 3 zone, and CJ, it's your turn.
It's my turn. Okay, at number 3 is another match that I saw live. Nick Aldis versus Trevor Murdoch for the NWA Heavyweight Championship, the 10 pounds of gold at NWA 73 in St. Louis.
At the Chase.
At the Chase.
Pounds of gold.
It was. This was a whole match. This was a whole ass match. I didn't go into this thinking that this was going to be my favorite match or top 10 or anything. I just, this was going to be a thing, and Nick Aldis was probably going to win and keep going. We had met Nick Aldis, great guy.
And Trevor Murdoch.
Fantastic guy. This is great. This is just, I walked into this whole show thinking that this was just going to be an enjoyable thing, and I walked out almost with no voice, with a tear in my eye. 30th anniversary. You're welcome. I don't think we sat for this entire match, and like I said, to get a reaction out of me it takes a lot, and they had every reaction and every emotion. I was screaming, I was yelling, throwing my hands around, crying, whatever. all the reactions were coming out of me for this match, and maybe that's because it's live, but I still maintain that this was an excellent professional wrestling match. And if you haven't seen it, then you should. And it was number 3, and that's that.
Yep, it was definitely. It was my number 10. Just because I felt like I agree with everything you said. I just liked a bunch of other matches better. But it was definitely big enough where I'm like, this can't be an honorable mention. It's got to be number 3. We cared about Trevor Murdoch, and I never disliked Trevor Murdoch, but it's like I never thought I'd be screaming my lungs out for Trevor Murdoch not to tap, and that counts for like something. You know how good you're telling a story in a match is that like I am passionate about Trevor Murdoch. I'm not saying that to bash Trevor Murdoch, but it's like.
Yeah.
Did you whenever I was watching Caden Murdoch in 2006, did I think I'd ever be screaming at the top of my lungs for him not to tap out to Magnus? No. But both guys show like when you just get an opportunity and you let them wrestle and let them both do what they do best and kind of leave them the fuck alone, you can create magic. I know the internet may not see that match, the internet at large may not see that match as, quite as magical, I mean, when it was very similar to, kind of how some people feel about the Cody Aldis at All In. It's like, why are you so excited about that? Don't you know Kenny and Pentagon was on the same card? And, that's your taste, and I respect that. But if you're in the crowd and you actually, like, allow yourselves to just look at a story, look into stories and not just moves. I'm not saying that you'll like that match more than any of these other matches, or that you should like that match more than any of these other matches, but you'll definitely see the merit in why we all feel that that's a match that deserves a little respect, and it's probably flying under the radar for a lot of people right now.
I'm sure.
All right, EZ, number 3.
All right, my number 3 is from Full Gear, the main event, Hangman Adam Page versus Kenny Omega. And this is just like how you guys had the feel-good moment that, like, Murdoch beating Aldes for this. Like, this was, like, finally seeing Hangman just reach the mountaintop as he is finally the AEW World Champion. Even though, and I am guilty of this, that I picked Kenny for this because it's like, I don't know yet. I don't know. AEW has pulled those shoestrings before where it's like just when you think they're going to make it, it's like, nope, fall short. But this was a great match. And especially my favorite part was just seeing Matt just give a nod to Hangman, be like, yeah, finish this. And be like, seeing him like hit the buckshot lariat and just seeing the Dark Order come out and everyone just in, I guess, like maybe in tears or close enough to it to see that like finally we got Hangman as the AEW World Champion, and I loved it. But the entire pay-per-view like was honestly great. Just I was even like thinking about the Super Click versus Jurassic Express and Christian Cage. I was even thinking MJF Darby. Just all around the entire match card was just great. So that is my number 3 to wrestling's favorite cowboy, to Hangman Adam Page. So let's see what 2022 is going to bring for him.
Okay. Match was good. Especially when you know how Kenny's wrestling hurt. So, kudos there, but I couldn't put it in my top list, but the moment-wise, it was still an amazing moment, and sometimes that counts for something, so I can understand why that can be on somebody's top 10 list. Wasn't on mine personally, but it's definitely like, I get why it's on everybody else's.
I was low-key thinking the Bucks were going to turn on Kenny. I don't know.
Yeah,
that's what I thought.
I wasn't thinking that, but like, yeah, I get. But we have we're down to the top 2, and CJ, what is your number 2?
You don't want to take a guess at it first?
I don't want to take a guess because I feel like I'm gonna spoil. Like, I don't know which one. I think it's
okay.
I'll put that. I think your top 2. This is gonna be either Thunder Rosa and Britt Baker or Dragunov versus Volter?
So my number 2, I can neither confirm nor deny. My number 2 is Britt Baker versus Thunder Rosa.
Hey, that's my number 2 as well.
All right. It was well, okay, let me put it this way. It wasn't my number 2. I decided to destroy the narrative of the list and go, this was number 1 for so long, I'm not going to knock it down to 2. I am just going to make it share space with Hangman and Bryan. So this was 1A on my list because I'm like, there was 1A, and 3. That's just how I did because I couldn't make this not a match of the year because of just how long it was there and how amazing of a match it was. Like, this was fucking... Yeah, go on. You guys talk about it because I talked about it already.
Yeah. There you go.
This was so many things for me. This got the emotion from me. This really... I was on the Britt Baker bandwagon, but this match pushed me to the and for that matter, I was on the Thunder Rosa bandwagon. I was watching her in the NWA from the time she debuted there, and I knew that these two were talented. I didn't realize how much chemistry that they could have or did have, and they came out and they set a whole standard that there are women in other divisions and in other companies that are trying to live up to this bar that they've set for grudge matches, for lights out death matches, garbage matches, whatever you want to call them. They raised the entire bar, not just for a year, but for until someone else can jump over it. And you're going to have to be a world-class hurdler to jump over it. This was an amazing match, and it's going to be one that I remember and can watch for a long, long time.
Mm-hmm. Easy.
Again, just going back at it, like the match was just awesome. Like, hardcore matches, especially on television, was great, especially as the main event. Like, this is just one of those, like, I don't really care who wins. This was just a great match in general. And this could have been the number 1. Like, I actually would have had this as my number 1. Low key, I wish it was a pay-per-view, but that's just me. But it was still great, and hopefully we get more of this. And this time Thunder can go after a title run if Baker's still champ in the year 2022. So we'll see. I don't know how long this title reign is going to last for the Doctors. So, I got one more to say. Like, this was just a great, great match, and hopefully this can elevate to much better performance out of the women's division. And now, with the introduction of the TBS Championship, who knows? Maybe, and I'm not saying it should happen. Maybe title versus title if Thunder becomes TBS champion, and maybe we could crown 2 champs. But then again, I don't want to go through the whole 2 belts crap like WWE does.
Okay. I remember on the when me and Nick recorded our list, I remember saying that this match would be like, as the women's division got better in AEW, this would be kind of what you cite as this is the moment. You know, this is
definitely the turning point.
Well, yeah, this is the AEW equivalent of, I said, Jimmy Johnson trading Herschel Walker for all the draft picks in Dallas, or Drew Bledsoe getting injured and Tom Brady coming in for the Patriots. Like, this is what that moment is like for the AEW women's division. So, yeah, and and I also said this. It was like the equivalent of deathmatch wrestling with story and like not just grotesque violence for the grotesque violence like some other people like in their deathmatch wrestling. This is like, you know, there was a story, there was a personal reason for it, and you know, it's you know, if deathmatch wrestling were done like this more often, I wouldn't dislike it as much. So, yeah. Number 2 for them, number 1A for me, because I changed the rules. Roddy Piper style. Just when you think you know the answers, I changed the questions.
I think that that's totally
Uh-huh.
justified, but I will keep mine at 1 and 2.
Okay,
Same here.
so match of the year for both of you. Was I right?
I
CJ.
don't know. Were you?
CJ, was I right? Is
I'm
it what I
like,
thought it was?
did you predict what Easy's number 1 match was gonna be?
No, I'm asking you. You go. Remember, ladies first.
That's true. Well, you said number 1 for both of you, and then okay. Yes, I think that I did hint a little bit, but I think anyone who knows me knows that this match is conspicuously missing from my top 10 list, and that is Walter versus Dragunov. This is the second of their matches. This was for the championship once again, and this is where Dragunov slays the dragon of Walter, and I words escape me when I talk about this match because it had the first match was phenomenal. It was the first match between Walter and Dragunov for me. And I know I'm not the only one, but I'll just speak personally, was like the Steamboat and Savage match from WrestleMania 3. It was perfect. It was put together so perfectly, and the storytelling was there, and it was great, and he just couldn't make it happen. And they took that and they built on it, and they left it alone, and then they built on it and they left it alone, and finally we get to this crescendo of number 2, and it was everything that the first match was for me, but more, because we finally got that payoff that somebody finally slayed Walter. And it I love Walter. I love the way he works. I love his storytelling, everything about him as a wrestler. Dragunov is phenomenal as well. So I don't know that these two could have had a bad match, but what they did go out and make was my number 1.
Okay, that's fair. I know it was high on Nick's list. It's my honorable mention. I just didn't connect with it like I did these other 10 matches. But if I did like a top 15 list, it'd be in the top 15. I just couldn't. I just didn't have the same connection with it. I liked it. It was what it was. But okay, so I was right. But easy, there's no guessing your number 1, so I'm just gonna let you say it.
Okay. Well, before I get to that, I'll just have 3 very quick honorable mentions. Double or Nothing, Sheeta versus Baker. Obviously, as CJ put it, like that's a great, great match. And uh, Super Click versus Christian Cage and Jurassic Express at Full Gear. Again, just as I mentioned before, like that match was just fun and amazing. And I know this isn't really a match per se, but this still just made everybody smile and think, can that happen just every week? Kevin Owens giving Jake Paul a stunner. I wish it was something more gruesome, but I'll take that. I know. I'm sorry. I know it's not a match, but
No, you're
that's
fine.
an honorable mention to me.
All right, so what is your
I
match
love
of the
seeing the
year?
Paul brothers just get killed by something. But anyways,
Not
my number
literally.
1. Okay, well, I'll give you this. Do you believe that it was a single or a tag team as my number 1?
I believe it's a single.
Wrong.
Okay,
It's
cool.
a tag team from All Out.
Okay.
Lucha Brothers versus the Young Bucks. This is what AEW builds to. Tag team matches being fucking fun. WWE had the great rivalry between Edge and Christian and the Hardys. My opinion, AEW's equivalent is Lucha Brothers and Young Bucks, because every time these two fight each other, whether it's single or tag team, they freaking deliver all the time, and this just had all the feels. And like, if I was there, I probably would have already lost my voice. But that was just the freaking most insane match that I've ever seen. And when Lucha Brothers won it, I think I jumped up like, yes, holy shit, that was amazing. Just like how those two delivered from All Out had 2 years prior, I guess the very first All Outs. Like, this was just, again, Lucha Brothers Young Bucks Part 2. And please, please, please just give us a third match. Give us a third trilogy for the tag team titles. I don't care if it's like AAA, Lucha Underground, Impact.
Does it
I don't
have
know
to be
what the
for the
fuck they're gonna do.
titles?
It's I having the titles adds more big equivalency for their rivalry. So this was just perfect. Like that was this is what AEW's first message is saying that tag team wrestling can be a main event. I know this wasn't the main event per se, but god damn it felt like one. Just everything they had, like the thumbtacks, the blood, and just everything was unfreaking real, and just adding in the steel cage too. Like, I mean, you guys were there. I'm pretty sure like the audience was just losing their freaking heads.
Oh, it's a great match. Just
Well,
I,
for me,
I just I just prefer the opening match style better. But like, I don't fault
listen,
anyone for
if I
I
was
don't
with
fault
you
anyone for
guys,
having this as their number one. Like, I'm
if I
not.
was with you guys, I would have told you guys already. Like, that's my match of the year. I don't give a shit what happens later on, but that is my match of the year, and I can only assume something greater is going to come for the tag team division of 2022, because that's what AEW's message is saying that tag team wrestling can be flipping amazing, no pun intended. So, but yeah, there it is, my match of the year: Lucha Brothers, Young Bucks for the AEW World Tag Team Championship.
Okay, I mean that's fair.
Now let's please get a 6-man belt already.
All right, so now it is time for the last part of the year end awards, and it's the year end awards. We're going to start with both of your breakout star of the year. We will, since we started ladies first on that, we're going to start with.
Just before we start, I think me and CJ might have the same answer. I'm just letting you know. We
Okay.
might have the same answer.
Okay.
I don't know.
I don't know. What's your breakout star of the year?
You first.
Yeah, we're switching it up. Switching the order.
Okay. Ricky Starks.
Okay. Why do you feel that way?
He honestly just, I guess, no pun intended, like he was really breaking out. As we had Brian Cage, as it looked like he was, the poster boy for Team Taz. But honestly, Ricky Starks has just been sneaking up on there, and he's just been entertaining as hell. And just low key, I don't really like his theme music, but that's a whole other story. He was just great. Anytime he's on like TV, just cutting a promo or just doing a match, it's like, this guy's awesome. Like Ricky Starks is indeed absolute. He's absolute amazing.
Well, CJ, I know you love Ricky Starks. Did he win this one for you?
I agree with all of those things, but I didn't choose him as my breakout star.
Oh.
And I'll tell you what, I'm not saying that he is not totally deserving of that. For me, he broke out like 3 years ago. I caught him.
Well, I thought that this year was finally like his time to shine. That's why.
Yeah, he got his big spot, his big stage spotlight this year. That's what I'm saying. Like I don't fault it at all. I chose someone that for me personally just kind of broke into my realm of knowledge this year. So I chose for my breakout star of the year Dante Martin.
You share Nick's. That was Nick's. Mine was Daniel Garcia.
I actually was almost about to say I thought it was Daniel Garcia for you.
Mine was Daniel Garcia.
Was a very, very close second for me, but I thought that Dante Martin really, really got out there and showed up.
Yep.
Not that Daniel Garcia didn't, but or Ricky Starks. Ricky Starks always shows up.
My logic for Daniel Garcia was just like, oh, hey, here's this guy that they're just bringing in. Oh, put him in with Punk. Put him in with Brian. Okay. But Dante, I can't. I don't fault Nick. I didn't fault Nick, and I don't fault you for picking Dante Martin. So.
And I didn't listen to Nick's choices either.
Yeah. So
I
then,
kind of avoided it.
See, now you can go back and listen and be like, oh, hey, like, and then the people.
Me and Nick really do have a couple.
Yeah, and all the people that watch both are like, hey, shut up. Or all the people that haven't watched ours are going like, hey, he's Cliff Notes in this. I don't need to go give that fucking video of you. All right. Next topic for the both of you is most improved. And DC, we're starting with you.
Does comeback star of the year count or no?
Um,
Because I don't really have a most improved. I'm sorry.
my most improved was like who did better this year than last year. So
Oh, I would definitely say Darby Allin, actually. Like, yes, okay. I see disclaimer, he did win the TNT Championship in 2020. I'll give him that. But I felt that he was honestly growing a lot more in 2021, and especially with his new alliance with Sting. It was really just getting him once again back on that spotlight there. So Darby Allin, I think, most improved. So it was good for him on 2020, but I thought like maybe something he can do something a lot bigger. And just with his new alliance with Sting, he really just had a really amazing 2021 as well.
okay, okay. CJ, what is yours?
My most improved, I chose Ty Conti.
Same here.
Hey.
Yeah, she improved by leaps and bounds this year. Like
She went from like really not knowing exactly what was like where she fit in the puzzle piece to just carving it out herself and just laying it all out there. And she every time she gets in the ring, she gets better.
mm-hmm, definitely.
She's got it for this business. She's got the thing. She's got the it.
Yep, definitely, and she really drove that point home on New Year's Eve, I believe.
Yes.
Okay. So the next on the list is Tag Team of the Year. I'm going to start with EZ.
It would be the Young Bucks. This isn't just me being a super fan of the Super Kick Pate, but no, they actually really had a great 2021. And finally, just embracing the bad guy persona, it really just put them right on the top here. So, and again, rolling back with their matchup with the Lucha Brothers, like any match they put on, they deliver like crazy. And this isn't just trying to get the Dave Meltzer stars, but no, they have been incredible. Like all the matches they've had from Lucha Brothers to FTR and just anyone that I can't name off the top of my head, all the matches that they've had were phenomenal. And they will continue to be entertaining. And especially with 2022, with them, as of this recording, aligning with Adam Cole and the Super Click. Well, we'll see what happens, and we'll see how long that will last.
Okay. Young Bucks for my
never forget.
Young Bucks for mine, but I feel like it was kind of like, it was just kind of like a by default sort of thing. Like, hey, they had some great, like, my favorite the Young Bucks match that made my top 10 was their match from Double or Nothing against Mox and Eddie. But that's besides the point. I went with the Young Bucks too, but like it was kind of a by default sort of thing for me. It's like, okay, the tag team division in AEW was not at its best this year, and
yeah, it was good, but
hot take. I think a lot of that was on the Young Bucks. But I'm hoping. Well, that's a debate for another day. But they're still my tag team of the year because if there was a big good tag team match this year, they were in it. CJ.
So for my tag team of the year, I was a little bit torn between two teams, but I ended up going with Jurassic Express, Luchasaurus, and Jungle Boy. Before the things happened, I made this list as of December 31st. They had a lot of progression through the year, especially in the third and fourth quarter this year. Pairing them off with Christian. I thought that was a good move, especially for Jungle Boy. Give him kind of a veteran to work with and learn from. Who better than Captain Charisma? I really like Luchasaurus, but Jungle Boy is cool too. Yeah, I thought that they really started to rise, and I think that they had a lot of growth in the year for all the tag teams. It was kind of in between them and FTR for me, but I went with Jurassic Express.
Yeah. Not unfair. But let's see how 2022 plays out. All right, the next one is show of the year.
All Out.
Okay.
Do I really need more to say?
Yeah, you do, because I remember I picked Double or Nothing because I felt from an in-ring perspective it was a better show.
All Out just had all the freaking surprises. All the matches were incredible, and we didn't just get one, but two shocking debuts with Adam Cole Baby and Bryan Danielson on the same moment. And if I was there, I don't think I would have been able to speak for a week. I literally would have been screaming so loud, it would have been louder than when Shane McMahon came back to Monday Night Raw for the first time in 7 years or 6, 7 years, whatever. And like I was at the show, and you watch it on TV, it's like, yeah, it's loud, but I was at the arena, I couldn't hear a single damn word. Like, holy crap! But no, All Out. Again, it's just one of those pay-per-views that like I'm so pissed I missed it, but hey, I know I am going to go to the 2022 show. As of right now, I low key kind of hope they do it downtown Chicago because I don't want to go all the way out to Hoffman fucking Estates. But it delivered. Like that was just my favorite pay per view ever. That is going to be on like my list of like my favorite pay per views ever.
Okay.
But All In will always be number one.
Fair. I don't disagree with that. I just feel like even from being there, I still gotta go elsewhere. But still not bad. All right, CJ, do you agree?
Oh, I picked Elimination Chamber.
Cricket.
Okay.
It's like
What?
waiting for the react. No, I do agree.
Okay.
And it's probably
Was
the
it
bias
because you
of
couldn't see watching All Out? Sorry, that was shade.
well, I did have the problem of not being able to see at times because
Hey, you know what? Put it on. We'll put it on blast. Yeah, hey, if you ever listen to this, whoever you are, listen. I respect the fact that we're bringing the world together through watching wrestling.
Pause, because the rest of the world doesn't understand what you're talking about. We are referring to a sign. It's a very distinct white or yellow sign with a hole in the middle cut out. It's like an outline box that says connecting people through wrestling and connecting people through reggae. I don't know, other than that this person likes both, what the connection of that is, but that's what we're referring to when we're calling this person out and putting them on blast. He's in Chicago. He's in St. Louis. We see you at all the major shows. We see you.
We see you. And you know what? I want to, people connecting people through wrestling is great. It's why we're doing this. But you know what? People pay a lot of money for tickets, and we want to fucking see.
We want to see the match,
not your sign.
Not your sign. Put your sign
Actually, it's
down.
funny. One
of
my best friends has a bit of an arch rivalry with that same guy as well. What the hell has he done?
He holds his sign up through the whole show.
And we can't see.
And we can't see the match.
And
even when people are screaming at him to please put the sign down because there are little children
that could not see.
He doesn't care. Didn't care. Did not care.
Little children go to AEW? I'm just kidding.
Yes, they do.
Yes.
No, I know. I've seen kids at the shows.
All right, so that was.
Poor kids had to stand on chairs.
Hey, but at least they get to learn their first curse words. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah,
pretty much.
We may have taught some people some very inappropriate strings of curse words, screaming at that guy.
Yeah.
And he did almost get his clock cleaned it all out, but.
Yeah, because some people were not happy and they had a few beverages, and yeah.
This is why I don't drink.
This is why
It wasn't the drinking that was the problem.
It's like, this is why I don't drink. This is why you guys do drink.
That's it. Yeah.
This is why we don't bring signs.
Yeah. I drink so I didn't kill him. That was the problem. All right. So, Wrestler of the Year is the last one. And Easy, you're going up first. Who is
All right.
your wrestler
For
of the year?
I have two because I don't like to discriminate. For my female wrestler of the year, God help me saying this, Dr. Britt Baker, DMD,
DMD.
MD.
because no fucking shit. But seriously though, like this was her freaking year. Like becoming women's champion and just dominating all this. But it's like, if you're being portrayed as the bad guy, please be the bad guy. I don't want people cheering for your damn name just because you got the catchphrase of DMD. Well, here's another catchphrase that I don't care if they're a hero or villain. I say it anyway. Adam Cole, baby. But anyways, like Baker, this was her freaking year. And for male wrestler of the year, this is not me just saying it because I'm from the same country as him, but Kenny Omega. Again, same ordeal. This was his year to be like, I guess, the alpha dominance of AEW, and especially with the shocking little alliance that he created with Don Callis, and then starting off the Forbidden Door opening near the end of 2020 of we're taking our title to Impact Wrestling. I'm like, did you just say Impact Wrestling? Excuse me, what? So Kenny just lit up the entire uh, dream with just the elite coming in, bringing in the Good Brothers, the Bucks aligning with him again. And then, of course, the shocking like debut of seeing Adam Cole Bebe reunite with the elite again. Although low key, I'm still waiting for that turn because ghosts never forget. But no, Kenny and Baker were the wrestlers of the year, my opinion.
Okay.
Also, an honorable mention, John Moxley, because he's a fucking hero.
Okay. Not unfair on any side. CJ, who is yours?
I had a short list for this one, but ultimately I had to go with the good doctor, Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, because Easy is right. This was the year of DMD.
And that's male, female, or
Baby.
That is
otherwise. She's just
that is
number one.
she came out this year. She came out early in 2021 and really started picking up momentum. Like the Britt and Thunder Rosa lights out match really established her, but she took it up from there. She got the championship. She's been a dominant champion, defending frequently and beating people handily. What the well, yeah.
That was good. That was actually good. That was
Yeah,
clever.
yeah, I thought so.
Like she
Um
didn't beat people dentally, if that's even a word.
no, handily.
Handily.
She
Yeah,
knocked
yeah,
out the
yeah. I
teeth
know the
and then
lockjaw.
she put
Yeah.
them back in because she's that damn good. She We joke about it about her taking MJF's place as the fourth pillar of AEW. She legitimately is.
She basically is.
She is the whole ass wall that holds up that women's division. And Jesus Christ, is she good at what she does in all the things. So she is wrestler of the year and dentist of the year.
All right. Nick and I both collectively agreed on Bryan Danielson as the wrestler of the year. Our logic being, hey, he kind of did all the good things in two companies, and with character work from being the hero returning to his rightful place in the wrestling business and not the entertainment business, and then like on a dime going unexpectedly on a dime going like, yeah, now I'm the top bad guy in the company. That was kind of our logic, but this was a topic that it definitely a lot of people have strong opinions about this topic, and there's a lot of people that, for better or worse, are not accepting any other answer for number one. I know there's a lot of very very passionate Kenny Omega fans out there that are basically taking it very personally if you don't pick Kenny Omega as number one. So with that, I must add, Kenny was great, but just yeah.
Kenny was great, and I will also give kudos publicly to Roman Reigns because that he took a company that nobody gave two shits about unless you were a real WWE stan, and he gave us something that we were all kind of interested in watching to see what he would do.
Yep.
For a whole year. He has really put that company on.
There
his
was
back.
one good thing about WWE for a whole year, and it was Roman Reigns.
He went from I don't want to see him, I don't want to hear about him, I don't want anything mentioned or said about Roman Reigns, to the only good thing about WWE.
Yep.
Although I low
Full
key, I
kudos.
still can't stand his theme, honestly. I liked
changed
his
the theme.
I liked his Shield remix a little bit. Because when you hear that song, it's just like when you hear MJF's theme, you immediately go boo.
I don't know, but
Cool theme. But
I can
kudos to him.
still-
kudos
to
there,
Still hear
and
the
kudos,
honor
and I
stuff.
also want to say this: kudos to Shingo Takagi. Also in New Japan, in a world where New Japan Pro Wrestling is kind of definitely in a slump, Shingo Takagi kept at least the wrestling portion of New Japan top notch. And I also want to give a small shout out to Keiji Muto, the Great Muta, who actually had a run as a GHC heavyweight champion in Pro Wrestling Noah. He's lost a step or two, but can still dance pretty well even at age 58, and still wrestle on a high level in a big company in Japan. So kudos there to Keiji Muto. And yeah, that is it. We can finally put 2021 to rest on this channel, and yeah, that was our that's everything, and that's everyone, and it was a great year for wrestling. Hopefully it keeps up, and we all had a lot of Nick, CJ, and I had quite a few companies represented. No, Easy had mainly an AEW list, but you had three companies on your list, so kudos there. So that's proof that there's a lot of potential in wrestling, not just in AEW. We had some independent stuff on our list, so definitely check out your local independent scenes, and don't be afraid. And I sincerely mean this. There's a lot of rules on the internet where you got to fall in line with what's good and what's bad, and that is what it is. But if you have a local independent promotion, or you just have an independent promotion you're passionate about, and if to you, in your experience, that indie promotion has given you a great match, don't be afraid to post about how great of a match that is, and don't be afraid of at the end of the year it's in your top 10 list. Your top 10 list doesn't have to be from New Japan or AEW or NXT or Impact or anything like that. Give time to your local independent promotion, and maybe it doesn't have to be Minoru Suzuki, but they can, and in some cases, maybe they should be one of your favorite matches at the end of the year. So I just wanted to get on that soapbox because I feel like some people are afraid to put those in their top 10. So
it happened, people. It's here.
Indeed.
It happened.
It happened. And yeah, so Happy New Year, even though this is going up midway through January. And we'll definitely...
We need a 2022 do-over anyway. It's fine.
Exactly.
We're starting over. We're fast forward. Yay, it's the end of 2022. You guys want to do the top 10 list again?
Do we?
2022 top 10 list right now. We'll just start 2023 tomorrow.
Okay.
It's going to be the easiest audit year ever.
Oh,
it's also going to be the easiest list because there's been minimal matches.
10 matches. We're good.
All right. So before this goes off the rails,
wrestled, so I've already got my number one.
Bryan Danielson wrestled, so I already have my number one. That might be real. All right.
Okada did something amazing. He might be my number one.
Yeah. All right. So, just stay tuned to the channel. Thank you for listening. If you enjoyed, please like, share, subscribe for more content, and join us at the end of 2022, like the real end, not this stuff we were just talking about. We'll see you next time.